Scarlet Fusion, Himiko's mech-type support battlesuit. Her leader skill increases the total damage multiplier of the team's switch skills. Her basic attack is melee, has 3 sequences that deal physical damage, and utilizes a system called Perfect Combo. By timing attacks with the marker that appears, Perfect Combo can be triggered. When triggered, Perfect Combo increases the attack's critical rate and imbues it with lightning damage. If triggered on the 3rd basic attack sequence, Scarlet Fusion gains resistance to getting interrupted, and the attack has a chance to paralyze enemies. By holding the attack button, Scarlet Fusion uses her charge attack, Sprinting Zone Hook. While sprinting, Scarlet Fusion deals lightning damage to enemies in front of her. She ends the attack with an upward slash, dealing physical damage and knocking enemies airborne. If 2 consecutive perfect combos are triggered, the next Sprinting Zone Hook will launch a spinning blade that deals lightning damage. Being able to sprint outside open world stages, Scarlet Fusion also has a sprinting attack that is able to close the gap on enemies. At 100 remaining SP, Scarlet Fusion is able to activate her ultimate skill, Nyx's Unlock, which consumes 20 SP upon activation and 10 SP per second when active. Upon activation, Scarlet Fusion deals lightning damage and paralyzes surrounding enemies. During Nyx's Unlock, Scarlet Fusion gains increased attack speed, and ignores interruption. All attacks during Nyx's Unlock launch light blades that travel forward in a straight line and go through enemies. Light blades deal lightning damage and cause enemies to bleed. Scarlet Fusion gains total damage against ignited or bleeding enemies. She also deals additional lightning damage to enemies with unbroken elite shields and is able to halve the duration of most incoming debuffs. When triggering her evasion skill, Scarlet Fusion gains movement speed and is also able to immediately launch her sprint attack. She also gains an EM charge, which increases her resistance from being interrupted for the next 5 seconds. The next attack within the duration of the EM charge triggers EM Blast, which deals lightning damage to surrounding enemies and paralyzes them. While her skills might seem to make her a DPS Valkyrie, Scarlet Fusion faces a number of issues when trying to fill the role of main DPS. To start with, her basic attacks are slow, and she is highly dependent on buffs and debuffs from support Valkyries to deal damage. Her skills also lack focus, making it difficult to properly equip her. Even though it might seem like she has a choice of being either a physical or lightning elemental DPS, the lack of focus makes her neither. Skills like her basic attack that increase critical rate do not innately increase her physical damage. Given that elemental attacks do not deal critical damage, the increased critical rate is mostly wasted. Her passive ability to deal lightning damage to enemies with unbroken elite shields also gets countered by her own ability to deal high amounts of shield damage. By removing the shields from elite enemies, she also removes the trigger for this passive. Additionally, despite her ability to synergize with support Valkyries who provide her with a momentary boost in damage, her ultimate skill being a burst mode greatly hinders the flow of battle. While being able to deal optimum damage at the start of the first rotation, her damage quickly falls off even before the burst mode ends. She will then have to recharge her SP to prepare for the second rotation, which loses more time. Fortunately, Scarlet Fusion's QTE, along with the fact that she is a great sword user, greatly increases her value as a support Valkyrie. Her QTE can be triggered when enemies are time slowed, and activates a time fracture when she enters the field. She then proceeds to unleash an upward slash. Elemental support stigmata like Tsing Shuntan T and M with Isaac Newton B can be applied easily with this single swift attack. Additionally, when equipped with Blood Dance, she is able to further increase the elemental damage enemies take. Blood Dance is also the reason she is primarily used as an elemental support. Furthermore, her high damage against shields comes in handy against bosses. Even though shields do not affect elemental damage, bosses tend to stagger when their shield is broken, and certain bosses even take additional damage. Scarlet Fusion might sometimes have to be equipped with additional damage to break shields. However, if the Blood Embrace Elf is available and equipped with proper talents, she can make up for the lack of shield damage, allowing Scarlet Fusion to carry elemental support equipment. With Blood Dance being in the optimum support setup, Scarlet Fusion will require SP when she is switched out. In the Memorial Arena, this is taken care of with leader skills that provide initial SP to the team. As such, team combinations with Scarlet Fusion would usually include Shadow Knight, and even at times, Lightning Empress. In Abyss stages, Different team combinations are made available due to the initial SP of every battle being set at 90. While used more often on bosses than on mobs, Scarlet Fusion can actually work in unison with a support that can pull enemies together if no other elemental support options are available. Against bosses, she's usually paired with another elemental support like Wolfston, but more likely with Phoenix. When in need of more than one set of support equipment, or when looking for alternatives, the 2-set ability from the Musician set is cost effective and is able to provide a good boost in damage. Also cost effective but not as powerful, Roald Amundson's full set is easy to obtain and is a viable option. Single parts like Teresa Gluttony T, May Beach Party M, Ogier T, and Isaac Newton B also work really well with Scarlet Fusion's support pattern. Unfortunately, there aren't any alternatives for Blood Dance when increasing the elemental damage enemies take. In some situations, however, the Dark Shenyan sword can be used to buy time and get a better score. Overall, Scarlet Fusion is able to assume the role of DPS in extremely early stages of the game, but falls off quickly. Fortunately, reaching S rank is all that's required to unlock her QTE, which gives her the ability to assume the role of elemental support and shield breaker.